Breaking today, Prince William doubles down. It's now a matter of when, not if, he strips Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their royal titles.
They called it an emergency flight, but let's be honest, when Prince Harry's jet touched down in London, this wasn't a family visit, it was a royal fire drill.
This document is the outline of Prince Harry's demise. It is the end of this wanky, skanky, ginger prince.
The prodigal prince who traded palaces for podcasts was suddenly sprinting home. Not for love, not for loyalty, but because the palace was preparing to do what he never thought possible, erase him. Yes, you heard that right.
King Charles and Prince William still believe Meghan Markle is a bigger threat to the royal family than Prince Andrew.
The very titles that once made Harry and Meghan untouchable, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, are hanging by a thread. And this time, it's not just the tabloids whispering. Inside Buckingham Palace, where every smile hides a strategy, Prince William's modernization plan is shifting into overdrive. The monarchy isn't playing defense anymore, it's cleaning house.
King Charles is turning a blind eye, but King William won't.
While King Charles battles illness, William's stepping up like a corporate CEO slashing dead weight. And guess who's top of the list? The California royals, the Netflix couple, the self-exiled duo who turned royal drama into a billion-dollar brand.
I actually would go as far to say that Harry is a traitor because he betrayed his country. He betrayed one of the leading institutions of his country, the monarchy. He disgraced the monarchy. He disgraced his family.
Harry thought he could walk away and still keep the crown's shine. Meghan thought she could trademark the monarch, but the institution they underestimated is older, colder, and far more ruthless than any Hollywood agent. Because when the palace decides to cut ties, it doesn't argue, it erases. And that's exactly why Prince Harry came running. Not to save his family, but to save his name.
Prince William has in the past fortnight seized control of the British monarchy from a weak and dying King Charles, and that spells very bad news for Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, Archie, and Lily.
Behind the golden gates of Buckingham Palace, calm smiles hide cold calculations. What the public saw, Charles waving from a car window, William attending charity galas, was a royal illusion. Inside those walls, tension has reached a fever pitch. King Charles' health struggles have quietly created a power vacuum, and the man stepping into that void isn't waiting for a coronation. Prince William has already started ruling in everything but name. Courtiers whisper about Project Renewal, a top-secret modernization plan that's less about tradition and more about damage control. The monarchy's reputation has been bleeding for years, from scandal to scandal. And at the center of most headlines are two familiar names, Harry and Meghan.
Terrible news for Harry and Meghan here is that William can now take away everything, their titles, without an act of parliament.
Every interview, every Netflix monologue, every brand deal has become another headline dragging the crown into celebrity chaos. William's view, enough is enough. To him, this isn't family, it's business. The monarchy is a brand, and in his eyes, the Sussex problem is costing millions in goodwill and decades of prestige. Advisors describe him as ice-cold, analytical, and relentless, determined to protect what's left of royal credibility. Inside his circle, talk of a title audit has turned into actual legal review sessions. The plan, streamline the monarchy, cut off loose ends, and remind the world who controls the narrative. And while Harry is across the ocean, sipping Californian sunshine, his royal status is quietly being dismantled piece by piece. But here's the twist.
Charity report that was put out, it was exclusively dedicated to ending Prince Harry. Not only that, but it's literally a legal document that it's setting itself up for a lawsuit and a criminal investigation.
The first name on that secret list for review wasn't his brother Andrew, it was him. They called it administrative housekeeping, but make no mistake, this was a royal hit job, disguised as policy. Deep inside Clarence House, lawyers began quietly dusting off ancient constitutional documents. The 1917 letters patent, the same mechanism that defines who gets to call themselves his or her royal highness. On paper, it's just ink and parchment. In reality, it's power, absolute and final. William's advisors reportedly pitched it as brand protection. The logic was ruthless. If you no longer serve the crown, you don't represent it. And if your name brings controversy instead of dignity, that name gets rewritten. Simple as that. What began as chatter over tea turned into structured meetings, coded memos, and silent signatures. The phrase whispered around the palace halls, title review. The first test case was Andrew, a deliberate warm-up to see how the public would react. And when outrage didn't come, the next step became crystal clear. Remove the Sussex titles, package it as modernization, and sell it to the people as progress.
They are a danger, honestly. Take this lesson from what Fergie and Andrew have done over the past 3 decades and do not let history repeat.
Behind the gilded curtains, Staffers were instructed to prepare talking points for when the story leaks. And yet, the one person who wasn't supposed to hear about it did. Somewhere in Montecito, Harry's phone buzzed with a message that made his stomach drop. It wasn't gossip. It was a warning. They're coming for the titles next. It was supposed to be a quiet week in California. Sunshine, yoga, and curated calm. Then, out of nowhere, Prince Harry was spotted boarding a private jet under the radar. No entourage, no smiling wife, no press leaks. Just a single goal: get to London before the palace's next move became permanent. This wasn't a family visit, it was a last-minute rescue mission. The official story: private business. The truth whispered by insiders: panic. Someone had tipped him off that the title removal plan had advanced further than he realized, and signatures were about to be filed. He'd been blindsided before, but this time felt different. Once the royal machine makes a decision, there's no undo button. Those close to him say Harry looked haunted. The rebel prince who once laughed through chaos now sat in silence, headphones on, scrolling through headlines he couldn't control. Alone, cut off from palace briefings, his calls unanswered. He had no allies left in London.
Harry found out at the same moment as the public, and his reaction was instant dread. His stomach dropped. He thought titles were untouchable. Now he's not so sure.
Even Meghan, according to sources, told friends she wouldn't go. It's his mess to fix. The jet sliced through storm clouds toward Heathrow, but every mile brought more dread. Would anyone even meet him? Would they let him through the gates? As the wheels hit the runway, one thought kept echoing in his head. They can't erase me, can they? He thought one phone call could fix everything. He was wrong. When Prince Harry landed in London, he expected a driver, a schedule, a discreet briefing, the kind of royal choreography he once took for granted. Instead, silence. No reception, no official car, no familiar faces, just cold air and unanswered messages. The palace hadn't just closed ranks, it had closed its doors. Harry reportedly requested a private audience with his father, urgent and personal. The reply never came. King Charles was said to be resting, and William was unavailable. Translation: he's on his own. Courtiers avoided eye contact. Aides redirected calls, and even longtime staff who once called him sir were suddenly distant.
It is shocking because in diplomatic circles, this means you're done.
The man born into privilege found himself locked out of the very system he once represented. Inside royal offices, strategy memos were flying. Every interaction with Harry was to be documented. Every approach handled through official channels only. It wasn't cruelty, it was containment. To them, Harry wasn't a son or a brother anymore. He was a public risk wrapped in family blood. Reporters outside speculated about secret talks, but insiders knew the truth. There were no talks to have. The decisions had already been made, the signatures prepared, the strategy finalized. And while Harry waited for a call that would never come, one headline in a forgotten tabloid summed it up best: the prince who lost his place. Long before the headlines, long before the Netflix cameras rolled, there was a quiet conversation in Windsor, a warning whispered by the late Queen herself. Those who were there say her message to Meghan was crystal clear: titles are earned, not traded. It wasn't anger, it was experience. The Queen had seen ambition tear through the monarchy before, and she recognized the pattern instantly.
And he constantly is living this life of demanding extra because he's Prince Harry. Bro, when you left the royal family, you became some random dude, keep it honest, who was Prince Harry.
So many people, they want all the privileges, they want all of the honors, they want all the plaudits, but they don't want to do anything.
But Meghan, ever the strategist, saw things differently. To her, the Duchess title wasn't a symbol of duty, it was a platform. Within months of leaving the UK, that crown-polished image became a brand logo. Podcasts, documentaries, business ventures, and now, a lifestyle empire drenched in royal aesthetics. Critics called it Hollywood meets Highgrove. The palace called it exploitation. For traditionalists, it crossed a sacred line, using royal privilege for personal profit. And when Meghan started filing trademarks linked to her Duchess identity, the Queen's old warning resurfaced like a prophecy fulfilled. Behind palace doors, William's advisors reportedly used it as ammunition. She was told not to. She did anyway. Public sentiment turned brutal. Polls showed that Meghan's name now triggered more disapproval than even Prince Andrew, a staggering shift the palace couldn't ignore. For William, it was the green light he needed. What Meghan saw as empowerment, the crown saw as betrayal. And in the monarchy's chess game, those who play against tradition rarely survive the checkmate. Royal punishment doesn't come with handcuffs, it comes with paperwork.
It's him saying, look, if you are not a full-time working member of the royal family, you don't need these titles. Just like Zara Tindall doesn't have one of these titles.
Hidden in the fine print of the monarchy's legal machinery lies a tool few dare to touch: the letters patent, the constitutional blueprint of royal privilege. For over a century, it has defined who gets to be royal and who doesn't. Now it's reportedly being revisited, not by the king himself, but by a team working quietly under William's direction. The plan is simple, but surgical. Rather than a dramatic public stripping, insiders say the palace prefers a procedural adjustment. No press release, no confrontation, just a quiet update in the official records. One morning, the words Duke and Duchess of Sussex could simply disappear. No scandal, no ceremony, just absence. This legal choreography would echo what was done to Edward VIII after his abdication. Titles softened, ranks reduced, history rewritten in elegant silence. For Harry and Meghan, it would mean the loss of every formal right tied to their titles. Precedence, representation, royal insignia. Even their children's future status could be rewritten overnight. In Montecito, that possibility reportedly sent shockwaves through their camp. Meghan's business partners worried about brand confusion. Harry's team scrambled for advice, but no one knew how to fight an invisible order. Because when the crown acts through law, there's no appeal. There's only the quiet sound of history erasing your name, one page at a time.
Thanks to this historic decision by William, and listen to me, it was by William, not Charles, to strip Andrew of his princely titles and all vestiges of royal privilege.
For years, the world saw William as the polished heir, dutiful, calm, almost predictable. But behind the carefully managed image lies a strategist who understands one brutal truth. To protect the crown, you must cut emotion out of the equation. And lately, that's exactly what he's been doing. While his father recovers and his brother spirals, William has quietly built an inner circle of loyal technocrats, media fixers, image consultants, and constitutional hawks who treat monarchy like a multinational brand. Their mission, keep the royal name spotless, even if it means rewriting family history. To them, Harry and Meghan are not villains, just liabilities. Every appearance, every podcast, every exclusive interview chips away at the institution's credibility. In William's mind, letting it continue isn't mercy, it's negligence. Colleagues describe his decision-making style as surgical. No raised voices, no outbursts, just cold precision. He doesn't need to humiliate his brother publicly. All he has to do is let protocol do the work. By the time the paperwork clears, the Sussex brand will vanish from royal records. No confrontation necessary.
I did think it would happen. If Harry and Meghan are watching, they should be incredibly concerned, because if it's this simple to take away Prince Andrew's titles, one day it could be this easy to take away Harry and Meghan's titles.
The irony, the same brother who once protected William from media storms now finds himself erased by that same calm hand. For William, the goal isn't revenge, it's preservation. But for Harry, it feels like execution. So here we are, the fairy tale that started with a royal wedding now teeters on the edge of erasure. The palace won't issue a statement, the lawyers won't confirm a thing, and Harry's silence speaks louder than any press release ever could. What began as a love story has turned into a legacy war, and the monarchy never loses. Imagine waking up one day and finding your titles gone, your crest removed, your name stripped from royal records. That's not exile, that's royal extinction. And whether you admire or despise them, Harry and Meghan are facing the harshest truth of all. Once you trade the crown for freedom, the crown never lets you back in. But here's where it gets darker and messier, because the palace may not be the only one turning its back on the Sussexes. Even luxury brands once desperate to align with Meghan's royal glam are quietly pulling away. And one French fashion house just drew a line she never saw coming. If you think this scandal was shocking, wait until you see how far that fallout goes. In my previous breakdown, we exposed how Meghan's relationship with one of the world's biggest fashion names spiraled into accusations, denials, and a silent corporate freeze that stunned insiders. So before you go, binge watch that expose next. It connects every dot this story couldn't. You're watching Star Spotlight, where royalty meets reality and nothing stays hidden for long.